So, technically speaking, India Inc. is ready for the new normal of work from home, unless some employee is really required to be physically present in the office. But what is more important is the continental shift in the thinking of some of the owners, founders, or CEOs. The definition of efficiency needs to change. It has to be not correlated to the amount of hours spent in the office physically. The productivity and efficiency should matter more than the appearance of effort. And both employers and employees need to come up with innovative ways of breaking the KRAs into smaller time horizons like weekly goals, fortnightly goals, and then how to measure them effectively through regular update meetings, through new set of reports that can be created. But yes, definitely it's possible, and India is ready for it. So yeah, the first thing that comes to mind when we think of CFO actions is cost cutting. Personally, I like to think of it as cost optimization and better cash management. And that can be done through various ways like reducing your fixed costs, reducing your capital costs, shifting from traditional advertising media to social media, uh, digitization of operations and processes, and so on and so forth. Uh, as it is post COVID, what needs to be done is that our costs need to be definitely in line with our collections. Uh, we need to use technology more so that the outcomes don't suffer. Finally, as business outcomes have to be there for continued operations. With use of technology, with the constraints of physical presence and borders and everything, we can away with a lot of those constraints through technology. And while these are all to kind of ensure non-stop operations, so in case of manufacturing, like product optimization and reduce wastage, increase productivity, etc. What businesses need to be looking forward is more in terms of long term, like renegotiating the working capital with banks with whom you have a long standing relationship. This is the time to encash on that long standing relationship. Think more in terms of the import export balance that the company may have, a backward or forward integration, so that you're able to expand your horizons and become self sufficient and not be dependent on anybody else. And that is what is majorly going to ensure the continuity of the business, the availability of liquidity, and diversification of operations. As we all know, technology has touched various aspects of our life, and nobody's away from technology these days. But yes, we have a long way to go still as far as our Western counterparts are concerned. Um, so, in the last decade or so, we've seen a great increase in digital space in terms of logistics, e commerce, online consumer services, and maybe healthcare was lagging behind somewhere. But now, healthcare industry, digital healthcare, is pegged to be the largest growing sector with increase in incomes in India, with larger health awareness, and with larger access to insurance and a variety of insurance that was probably not there earlier. Rather, a study from IBEF has said that the Indian healthcare market will be valued at $372 billion by 2022. Uh, Government is doing a lot to support startups in general and digital healthcare startups through Digital India, Startup India, and where government earlier had hard stance on telemedicine, online pharmacy, etc., and there was a lot of litigation going on in some of the southern states, as we all know. Now the government has revised its policies, and all these things are now allowed into the digital space. And post COVID, with the increased awareness in health, there'll definitely be more policies to aid digital healthcare, so that there is less contact and more reach to healthcare through digital platforms. So definitely healthcare is something that is going to be adopted, going to grow, and is going to change the landscape of the healthcare industry in India. Wow, I don't think anybody can answer that question with absolute clarity or certainty. But what we need to understand is that the world economy was already in a comorbidity stage when COVID struck. And what I mean by that is that the global risk chart issued by the World Economic Forum had already stated that six out of the seven top economies of the world were in deceleration mode. Global trade was already declining when COVID happened. So that's why it's affecting the world a little more than probably one would have expected. Countries can give out money as packages, but more money that we give out as packages means more borrowing for the country, which means more public debt, which is creating a bubble for the future where the countries are not able to repay those and could go a downhill path. And the only way to reduce public debt in that case is obviously increase investments in your country, increase demand in the country, increase your GDP liquidity through manufacturing, etc. Um, what the only solution for the country could be sustainable living, strong financial systems, sustainable business policies, and India is in a very unique position because of its demographics. So once the economy opens up, I believe that GDP growth for 3 to 4% could naturally happen. But where it will be important is if we can push the demand to reach the pre-COVID levels, if not more, and that is probably the only way we can determine how soon we as a country can come out of the losses because of the COVID situation. Startups will be the key to growth, innovation, and job generation with the frugal and efficient use of resources to run and expand businesses both within the physical boundaries of the country and beyond. As we have seen that the top 10 corporations of the world 10 years ago have now been replaced by younger and digitally driven companies. Post COVID scenario will force the companies to relook at their business models, and the whole engagement approach will need to change, and businesses with a strong digital footprint will definitely stand to gain. Go to market strategies will need a fresh perspective, a whole new way to engage and service prospective customers. New age startups actually have a very unique advantage where they can make a realistic assessment and direct their e-solutions to address both explicit and latent needs of the customers alike. Market sentiments will definitely take some time to revive, and that gives a good lead time to the startups to try and test their unique business models and see that what kind of impact is left behind, because in the end it is going to be impact and impact alone which will decide how much traction a new business is going to get. Well, like I said, that only the companies with a strong digital footprint will be the ones to grow, survive in the post COVID scenario. And Pink Shastra aims to provide end to end healthcare solutions for elderly living in India using a digital platform combining telemedicine, digital records, and digital onboarding. So it's a complete end to end digital solution for healthcare for elders. The team and advisors of the vertical, which we are calling Care for Parents under Pink Shastra, has a combined experience of more than 20 years in all spheres from healthcare to technology to startups and you name it, which gives us a unique advantage to be able to well understand the needs and requirements of the users, whereas also being well versed with the overall machinery of healthcare institutes, and then integrate this learning with a state of the art technological platform to enable digital onboarding, digital appointments, and record keeping, among many other things. Thank you so much for inviting me for this talk. I really enjoyed it. I hope that you and all the listeners can gain something from it. Thank you.